in the foam block. So I took my foam block and I cut it down to fit my pot size because I have the smaller pot. Some people might have the larger pot, but I have the smaller one. So I had to kind of pare down my foam block with scissors just to make sure that it would fit in there. So I shoved that in there. If you have the larger pot and you want to put some glue in there to make sure it stays, you can do that. I don't need any because mine I had to like really shove to get it in there. So it's pretty sturdy. So that's what we did at first. And then before we put our flowers onto our styrofoam ball, we shoved the wooden dowel through the very bottom of it and then secured it with glue. Just making sure that it's the creases, you're able to see it. It's well defined. Because if you don't, then it tends to not behave when you're actually making the flower. Once you've taken your crepe paper in 30 inches and folded it in half twice, you're going to make the flower. You're going to start folding it. And then once you got enough of a start, you can kind of put it in between your right index finger and right thumb, and then use your left thumb and left, I'm using my ring finger, but you can use your index finger too. So it's kind of whatever is comfortable, but you're going to use your left hand to actually do the pulling, and then your right hand is just kind of holding it in place while you fold, while you roll. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll show you how to super glue it. So hot glue the bottom of the flower so that it stays together. So make our little flower. If you notice this one's not perfect because I was trying to go quickly, it's okay. It's just gonna add to make it look like it's a real flower. It's the imperfection. Okay, so once we get to the end, so we've rolled our flower all the way to this point, but we have a little bit of extra. So we're gonna look at the bottom of our flower. The bottom of the flower usually doesn't look as pretty as the top. The top, see if you notice this one's a little bit cleaner. The bottom's kind of got all the edges in it, so it's not as clean. So this is the bottom. Tighten mine up a little bit because it's not as tight as I'd like it. So once I want to glue down this part, I'm going to just take a dab of glue, put it, oh, let's add another glue stick. Put a little dab of glue. And then I'm just going to take it, and I kind of find that I like kind of twist it backwards and then plop it down, but it's kind of whatever works for you. So that's kind of how I did it. You just kind of take the end and plop it onto the glue on the bottom of your flower to end it, just like that. So I'm gonna do the other two. I've done 4. So I'm gonna go to the other 2. So make the other 2 round like these ones. And then I'll show you how I'm going to put them on the styrofoam ball. And then we can keep going. So again, let's see, notice this one, half again, it was kind of messed up. All right, so again, you're just gonna start by rolling it with your fingers. And then once it gets big enough, I'm just gonna pick it up with our thumb and index finger, and then just start rolling it with our left hand. Using these as little chompers to kind of hold it steady, and then using the left hand to actually do the work. Okay, so I have these 4 that I've done now, 2 in each color. Does everybody have 4? Do I need to give everybody a little bit longer? Okay, so hopefully you have the 4. If you only have like 1 or 2, that's fine. It's basically the same for all of them. I'm just going to show you on our styrofoam ball how to put them on. So basically I just started at the top, like the very top. Oh, I hope if you can see it. Very top right here. This is the very top. So it's at an angle, so it doesn't look like the top to you guys, but this is the top. So I'm gonna start at the very tippy top, and I'm just gonna start with my green one, and I'm gonna put it right here. Like how it's positioned. So I'm going to stick a little bit of hot glue on my flower, and then I'm going to just stick the flower right on top of the styrofoam ball, and then I'm going to hold it down so that it stays. Just give it a couple of seconds just to make sure that it stays. Okay, once it's on there, I held it for a long time, but you probably don't really need to hold it for that long. Once that one's on there, then we're gonna go to our next one, and I'm just gonna go to a different color. And I'm going to place a little dab of glue on that one, and then I'm just going to kind of up against it. There we go. I'm gonna push it up against it and then push it down. So if you can see, not really well, I have now pushed the second one right up against my first one so that they're right up against each other, and then just kind of glued it down. And we're gonna do that with all of the ones that we make. So you can decide what pattern you want to do yours in. Notice on this one, there's not really any sort of, I just kind of went in whatever order I wanted to go in. So there's not really a pattern to it. I just tried to keep them so that the light green ones and the green ones just kind of were intermixed. So you can do it however you want to do it. I'm going to do another light green one. And again, you're just going to place a little dollop of glue and then shoving it like right in between those two. I'm just going to push down. So now, as you guys can see, I have 3 on there. Pushing down. Okay, so now I have 3 on there. And then for the 4th one, just put a little dollop of glue. Now let's see where I want it. Okay, I'm going to put it right here. Push down. So we're gonna do that for all of them. And if you notice on mine, it's really hard to see because it's so close, but the 4 that I did maybe take up like probably not even a 1/4 of the top part of it. So that's why I'm saying you're gonna need to do a lot of the. So let's go to our next part, because like I said, it's going to take a long time for everybody to do the flower part. So I'm gonna go on to the next part so that you guys can at least know how to do it. And then when you're, you can come back to your flower part later. So what I like to do is once you're done, and you can still, once you've done this next part, you'll still be able to super glue your flowers onto your foam ball. It's just gonna mean you're gonna have to go with this first, or kind of go around this too, but that's totally fine. It's not gonna make it so you can't. So you're basically just going to kind of find the middle and just kind of push down until it goes all the way through the little foam block. And then once you have the hole, I like to take mine back out and kind of do the same thing that we did with the wooden dowel and the foam block. Is I just put a little bit of glue through there so that it'll be totally secure when I'm done. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of glue, put it all the way through. And then so now it's kind of hard to see because it's really close to the table. So now it is secure in our pot. Now we're going to kind of set this aside, and we're going to grab our dough, which your dough hopefully is still good. I gave up kind of, you shouldn't need all of the dough because we're basically just going to use it to create the vine-like look. So if you can see on this one, you notice this is the wooden dowel, the straight piece. And then this piece that curves around, that it hopefully looks like a vine, that is just the dough. So we're going to roll out our dough. And I said like a snake. So Let me get the dough out of the, I'm just gonna tear open mine. That's probably the easiest way to get it out. You shouldn't need all of it. I think I'm going to put it in half, and then kind of like, you know, what you did in school when you would make stuff, just kind of use the table and roll it, just so that it's kind of even. And we're just gonna kind of roll it enough so that it is long enough to go around our wooden dowel from the very bottom of the ball all the way to the top of the foam block. And what I mean by that is, here is my pot and my foam ball. And I want my dough to wrap around it. So I think this might be good. So I'm gonna start here, the very bottom, the very base of my, and just kind of secure it onto there. Just kind of squish it in a little bit, not too much, because like I said, you want it to look like a vine, so you don't want to like squish it all the way, but just kind of enough so that it sticks. And then you're just going to wrap it around. You can wrap it as loose or as tight as you want. Mine, it looks like I need to kind of pull a little bit because I want to make sure it goes all the way to the very bottom. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but I've now all the way at the bottom. So I'm just going to kind of secure it by pushing on it just to make it stay in there. And then to make sure that it stays on the wooden dowel, it shouldn't give you any issues, but I'm just gonna kind of add a little bit of super glue, just like underneath, like strategically, just a little bit, just like a little dab, every so often, just to make sure that it stays where I want it to be. So stay there. And then put you right here. Like I said, you don't really need to do that. I didn't do it with this one and it stayed pretty good, but I'm just to be extra cautious, I'm gonna do it with this one. And then I saw, so this is just with one vine. Now, I gave you enough that you could technically do two. Somebody online was doing it where they put 2 vines on there. So, like we can try it, see how it looks. So we're just gonna take our dough again, and then just kind of roll it out so that it's even, because you kind of want it to be the same size all the way through. I'm just kind of rolling it out so that it's long enough to fit on my wooden dowel. I'm not sure if it's gonna work because my other one I just did one, but we'll try it and see how it works out. Looks like it might be a little thinner than my other one. And let's see if it's gonna be long enough. Nope, that looks like it's long enough. Okay, so we're gonna start, and you don't have to do this second one if you don't want to. If you only want to do one vine, that's totally cool. We're just gonna try and see if we can do a second vine to see if it kind of looks better or different. So I'm just gonna kind of secure it by just kind of pushing on it. But I still want it to look like a vine, so I don't want to squish it too much. And then I'm gonna do this to roll it. So instead of rolling it around, I'm actually just turning the whole thing. So this one, I kind of want to end it. Looks like I have a little bit too much, so I'm just gonna take that piece off and throw it away. And then I'm gonna secure this one down there like that. Just kind of pushing it so that it sticks onto the foam block. And then I kind of like how it looks. So I'm gonna go with it. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's totally up to you. Again, I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. I'm just gonna add a little bit of hot glue just to make sure it stays. And it probably will without me doing this. This is probably extra. I don't need to, but just in case. We're gonna add it just in case. Kind of take away the... so now I'm going to paint it, and hopefully everybody has a paintbrush. If you don't have a paintbrush, I mean, we do have some here at the library that you could come get if you don't have one. If you've done any of our other programs, you should hopefully still have the paintbrushes left from one of our paint nights or whatnot. But if you need one, just come and let me know, and I can get you a paintbrush. So this is just like a brown paint with a little bit of white, hopefully squirted into it, because I didn't want it to be super dark. So I wanted it to kind of be light enough that it kind of looked like a vine, like a tree bark. But if you don't like the color, you can always like add maybe a little bit more white to it just to make it look a little bit lighter. This one I added kind of quite a bit of. If you notice, it's very light. So the one we're about to do is going to be much darker. I don't know if you can see the difference, but hopefully this dark one will look okay. If you don't like this color, just add a little bit of white, and then you can do it that way. So, and then I'm just going to basically paint it. I really should be waiting until this is completely dry. It'd probably work out better. I think I might do that. Okay, so this one, I think on my last one, I waited for my dough to dry for a day. I'm going to keep going, but if you notice that it's not coloring really well, then just wait a day until it dries, and then you can finish up the paint job. But I'm just gonna kind of slack on some paint just to kind of give you guys an idea of what it hopefully should look like. And I'm, of course, getting glue everywhere. Let's take this glue off. Still have the glue strings. That's what I was kind of contending with. When you're up at the very top, you just want to kind of be careful that you don't paint your flowers. So just kind of keep in mind when you're doing this that you might want to either do the painting first so that you don't have to worry about getting it on the flowers, because if I paint a little bit of the ball, it's not going to matter because I'm going to stick my styrofoam or my crepe paper flowers over it. So it's okay if I get a little brown paint on it. But once I have all the flowers in place, obviously you're going to be a little bit more careful. And then I also noticed on the first one that I did, you notice parts that you need to go over again. So I'm going to paint this, but I'm sure I'm going to find parts that I don't like, that are like I missed it. I missed the color, and you can still like see through it. So I did have to go back and repaint, I think like once or twice after it dried, just to make sure that I got all of the little pieces, because there's like a lot of little holes that you got to make sure you get. And again, the dough was dry when I painted it the last time. And now it is not dry. It's still wet, but well, with what we got. Is everybody doing okay? And then the same with the bottom, because I don't have the moss or the gold coins yet, I'm not going to worry about accidentally painting the foam block, because the moss and the gold coins should block any kind of imperfections with the paint and the foam block. Because at the end, you don't want to see the foam block. The foam block is just there to keep this stuff in place. You don't want to see it, it's ugly. So we're just gonna kind of not worry about accidentally painting it. If you just want to do one vine, see it? This is what it looks like with one vine in a lighter brown, and then this is what it looks like with 2 vines. And it's still wet, so I don't know how well you can tell the difference. Okay, so once we're done with that, and we've gotten paint all over ourselves. Okay, so now you have your, let me see if I can, change the camera so you can kind of see it a little bit better. Okay, so hopefully you have it all painted. So now we're gonna take the moss, and you should have gotten a whole bunch of it. So should be plenty to cover your block. If not, let me know and I can get you some more because we have plenty. I'm gonna kind of, what I'm gonna start with is I'm just gonna kind of put a layer of glue kind of around my foam block, just a quick, there we go. Now I'm just going to start throwing on the moss just to kind of get it in there. Just to get a nice good like bottom layer, and then we can go in over the top. So I noticed, I'm getting paint all over myself. Okay, so obviously you can still see a little bit of the foam under there, and then there's dead space, which I don't like either. So I'm gonna kind of go in and with some of my moss, and I'm just gonna like shove it in there just to kind of cover that up, and then adding some more glue. So yeah, basically you're just adding glue and moss to cover up your foam block and any of your dead spaces that you want to get rid of. Also knowing that we are going to also put on our gold coins. So if there's something that the moss just isn't going to cover, the gold coin probably will. So I'm just going to kind of go around, and as I see spaces that I want to cover with my moss, I'm going to throw them in there. Being careful because the moss isn't like completely porous, so don't burn yourselves basically. Be careful when you're just shoving it in there. Oh, and then I see a lot of space right here, so I'm just going to add in a more glue. Grab a glue stick, add another glue stick, more glue. Just doing that. Shoving it in. Doesn't need to be perfect because it's moss. I don't know how you can make moss look perfect. And then I found another little spot. So I'm just going around and just filling in the spots with moss. You don't have to use all your moss if you don't want to. I should have given you enough to cover it completely, but this is a smaller one. So if you have the bigger one, you feel like you're not going to have enough moss, maybe try to concentrate in one area, and then you can use the gold coins to cover up the rest of it. So once you have the moss in how you want, then you're basically just going to add your gold coins in, and then you can do that however you want. I like that one like that, so I'm going to take it, add a little bit of hot glue, and then just kind of stick it in there like that. And then you can add as many as you want, and then they're two-sided, so I kind of kind of change up how I do them so I get both sides in there. So that's how, if you want to add more, you can. I think I'm just gonna stop with the 4. On this one, I added about 6. So it's kind of up to you how many you want to add. And if you run out and you want more, just let us know. I have extra here. If you want more gold coins, I definitely have more here. I bought a lot. So if you don't feel like you have enough and you want to add a lot more to give it kind of a better look, just let me know. But so this is how it hopefully will look when it's done. I'll put on YouTube. I'll finish it up probably next week and put what it looks like after I've actually finished it all up. I'll probably put another coat of the paint on there because yeah, it looks like it needs another coat because I just did a really quick coat. So, and then I'll go in with more of the flowers too. And then on this one, on the one that I originally did, I had leftover like vase filler from the dollar store. I don't know if you can really see them. I just kind of, I wanted to see what it looked like. So if you guys have some of these, I didn't provide them because I only had a couple left over from Christmas. But if you have some of these at home, or I got them from the dollar store, and you want to add them, I think they're kind of nice to add in, just kind of like a little decoration in between the little flowers, but you don't have to do that. I think it looks just as good without them. So it's up to you if you wanted to add that or not.